This is Mike up in the top corner.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
And this is Cooterdoodle next to you.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, very interesting names, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Absolutely love it. All right, what's going on, Thomas, and everybody else that's tuning in? Welcome on into Fantasy Intervention. We have a little bit of a special guest for you guys, of course. I wanted to welcome in Thomas over there from at Some Yards, which is Some Yards Better Than No Yards. We're actually over there teaching kids how to play fantasy football. But the all reality of it is Thomas has been pretty much teaching us how to play fantasy football as he whoops up on us every single week. He's just taking people to school. Thomas, you want to say what's up? Introduce yourself.
Hello.
Thomas over there has absolutely been crushing it. He's been dominating all the leagues, and it's been a blast to play with him. Thomas, who's your favorite guy that's on your team? Like, who's the best guy? Who's your premier player over there for your team?
It would have to be Hopkins, Hill, and Kelsey.
Ooh.
He went Chiefs heavy, by the way, like in this draft. I mean, he was hitting him out of the park. He got Kelsey. Kelsey's been winning him leagues. And this past week, you just advanced to, the semifinals, correct?
Correct.
Absolutely crushing it. He actually scalped me for Dalvin Cook, like crushed my soul. We made a trade, and unfortunately, I saw the downside of the trade. Meanwhile, he got Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook's been killing it for you, right?
Correct.
Is he your favorite addition so far that you didn't draft?
Yes. Yes,
Absolutely. All right, so I got one more question for you, Thomas, and then we're going to get you out of here. All right. Are you going to beat your opponent this week, and are you actually going to win this championship?
Yes.
Love it. I love the confidence.
I'm rooting for you.
Absolutely.
Well, Thomas, we appreciate you for coming in, man. I definitely wanted to make sure that I gave you a little bit of a shout out because you have been doing so well over there and made sure you got some recognition. So thanks for coming in, Thomas. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining, bud.
Bye, Thomas.
Bye.
See you later.
That's awesome,
man.
What a good
Dude,
team.
he's killing it, man. He's absolutely crushing it. If you guys want to go over there and check it out, it's at Some Yards over there on Twitter. You guys can also find it at facebook.com/someyards. So I'm excited for Thomas to actually be able to get his face out there and show everybody. But yeah, we got a hell of a show, guys. This is Fantasy Intervention, right? We are here to crush faces and, just pretty much take souls when it comes to week 15. We're going to make sure that you guys get into your finals. So let's do this, man. Let's do this. You guys ready to kick off this episode?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Let's
ready.
roll.
All right, let's do it.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Now here to intervene with your fantasy life, Chase Vernon.
Oh, and not only am I here to intervene with your fantasy football life, we've got Mike over there at Daddy's Home FF, and of course, Cooterdoodle. What's going on, you two? How y'all doing?
Doing good. That music is nice. I don't know where that came from, but it hypes me up every time.
Dude, it pumps me up, man. I'm stoked. I'm ready for this. I'm absolutely ready to get this episode kicked off every single time. So we do have some things planned, which Mike is going to go over here in a minute with us, what the show is actually going to look like. But we are going to answer some questions to make sure you guys get those lined up. And of course, we have special guests on for my birthday show. We have special guest Scott Fish coming on here in a little bit as soon as he gets his kids down to bed. So make sure you guys stay tuned for Scott Fish. He will be on here with us in a little bit. Very excited for that. But Mike, what's up, man? What we got lined up for the show sheet?
Oh, man. Well, the show sheet is going to be fire tonight because you know what we do. And honestly, I think I think that if our listeners are anything like us, they're going to enjoy this week more than last week. And the reason for it is because my picks absolutely bombed. Absolutely bombed. And I know you guys want to hear me apologize more than victory lap. And that's coming this week. So we're going to recap last week. We're going to have some post-waiver ads. I'm going to be honest. If you guys are holding on for that part of the show, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. 4 teams left. It's your smartest 4 teams. Not a lot of panic drops this week, but we'll maybe talk a little bit about Dynasty and how you should be playing that. Then we're going to give you those smash flex plays and those starts outside the consensus, top 20 running backs and wide receivers, top 15 quarterbacks and tight ends for week 15. But first, I think we got to take care of a little business. Give a shout out to our sponsor, right? You guys want to hear Professional Mike do his thing?
Let's
Do
go.
it. Do it. Go, Professional Mike. Go.
Come prop up on Thrive Fantasy this season. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy show app for player props. They've eliminated the need to do countless hours of research because they only ask you about the top tier athletes. Choose 10 out of the 20 player props for the NFL options to build your lineup. Use promo code CIRCLE when you sign up today, and you will receive an instant match bonus up to $50 on your first deposit of $20 or more. For those of you who struggle at math, that would mean if you deposit 20, you will get 40, 30 gives you 60, 40 gives you 80, all the way up to that $50, $100 bonus. Again, use promo code CIRCLE to get that bonus. Download Thrive Fantasy on the App Store today or Play Store, or by visiting their website, www.thrivefantasy.com. Sign up and hashtag prop up today.
That was
God, it's
very
like
good, man. That was the
local
best one
great-
yet.
But it's so smooth, you know?
It was very smooth. I love that. I absolutely love that, Mike. That was killer.
They bring something to us. We want to bring something to them. We want to make it smooth. So before we jump in, I think we should probably address kind of how the day went. We're going to buy some time for Scott to get here anyway. And last I checked, we have about 2,000 views on me gyrating into a camera this afternoon. So, full transparency, I had been practicing for 3 days. I've been practicing 3 days for Celine Dion. I finally get the words down, right? Like I had been working on it. And I had been screwing up one word every time and finally got the words down. I go to log on to Twitter. I'm like, man, I am ready to put on a show. And then Beezy shows up doing Celine Dion, because apparently that's what New England boys do when we're home alone. We sing Celine Dion to each other. So Beezy stole my thunder there. And I was like, man, I can't follow up Beezy with his Celine Dion rendition and do my own. There's no way I'm going to do that. So I bust out what everybody on the New England karaoke circuit has seen before, which is my rendition of Shoop. No practice needed, man. I bust that song out like it's fire all the time. So I just did it. I just did it. I kind of did the thing. And now there's gifs of it. There is shares of it. And there was a lot going on in the lower region, the Netherlands, if you will, of my physique. And I think that's really kind of what has brought the boys to the yard. And I've noticed, and I know what you're going to say, that this is for Scott Fish, but I just want to point out that our viewers have almost tripled since that video came out. So I'm not going to say that I brought the boys to the yard or that my milkshake did, but I think you can all infer that's kind of how it went down. So
I like it.
You want to give them the recap? You want to tell them what we did last week and get there, or what do you want to do? How do you want to?
Before we do, let's answer a question real quick, and then I want to do a Dynasty Nerds giveaway because they're giving me 3 subscriptions to the Dynasty GM tonight to give away as part of my birthday celebration. So I actually get to pay it forward to the people that are listening and be able to give away a trial subscription to Dynasty GM from Dynasty Nerds. So I definitely want to hit on that. And so yeah, we will get to that, but let's go ahead and answer a question. And by the way, if you guys want to be entered into this, I cannot see who's commenting on the Facebook side unless you get it approved through Facebook. So please do that so we can include you guys in the entries for the Dynasty Nerds Dynasty GM trial. All right. So let's go ahead and start it out. Akers of Montgomery, standard league. Thanks.
This one's easy for me. This one's so
Cam
easy.
Akers, right?
I got to go Akers. 100%, not a doubt. And they face the Jets. Like I know they face New England, which I talk about later in the show. I think they're bad with the run. against a lot of these teams,
Yeah.
but the Jets are going to be bad too. It's just easy Acres.
I'm taking Akers too. Montgomery up against Minnesota. Minnesota's been far better over the past 2 weeks up against the running back. I'm not saying they're great, but they've been far better. Meanwhile, their secondary is very porous. You guys will hear my love for Mitch Trubisky coming up here soon, but I'm going Akers on this one.
Oh my God.
As much as I want to see the vein on Chase's forehead explode when I say David Montgomery, I'm going to go Akers. However, I am going to tell you that you should almost certainly temper your expectations. You're going to hear my love for Jared Goff coming up soon this week, because the way you beat the Jets is through the air. We covered this with Devontae Booker. We've seen it time and time again. Don't fall into the trap that because the Jets suck at football, it means they suck against the run. They most certainly do not. And what happens is everyone falls into that, well, the Jets are going to be behind, so that means the other teams are going to run. I want to give you a little stat here that you may not know. The Jets have been behind every game. So if you're going to use game script, it's already come to fruition. How many times now? 13 times that they give up more in the air than they do on the ground. They are stout up the middle. I love what I see from Akers. I think you could possibly look at maybe an 80 and a touchdown game from him. But if you're looking for that 170 game you saw last week, I'm just not sure this is the matchup. And when I told you that Akers is going to be a league winner, this was the week I told you to caution, because the Rams passing game, I want every piece of that I can get. But when you look at the running game, it's good, but not great. Now, the difference is, as much as I like to give a lot of, guff to Chase, in this case, neither is a great matchup. So I am going to, I know, Sal, I am gonna go with the bigger talent, and in this case, that's Cam Akers. So we're gonna make that a clean sweep.
And look, I'll fall for the trap. I'm going to fall for it. And you don't measure like length of land in Montgomery's. You measure it in acres, and there's a reason for that. So
that's actually a very solid point.
All right,
hey, and just for Sal, real quick, I still love stickers, buddy. Sorry to throw you off with the that's comment.
He still likes stickers. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and give away one of these Dynasty Nerds Dynasty GM packages. I already had a randomizer for it over here, guys. I typed in a few of the names for the people that started with us. First off, the first winner of the Dynasty GM trial package, make sure you guys message me on Twitter, ff_intervention, is Tio's girlfriend,
yes.
6. Tio's girlfriend 6 gets the first Dynasty Nerds Dynasty GM
He's great.
Trial package. So, Tio, make sure you message me to remind me, and I'll give you the code for that so you can actually get their package, which is amazing. Like, you can actually manage these leagues and do crazy stuff that I never imagined. I honestly thought that I was going to tank all 28 of my teams this year because I was not able to manage them until I got a hold of the Dynasty Nerds Dynasty GM package, and it just made everything actually feasible. So, we do have a guest. I want to bring in, of course, the reason why the majority of you are in here right now, the 40 that are still listening. We have Scott Fish.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, man?
Buddy?
Dude.
Thanks for having me on.
I like your shirt.
Yeah, I saw that. I plugged in and saw you wearing the same shirt. Very nice. Very nice.
So,
my apologies, Scott. I kind of sweated mine up a little bit doing my shoot video this afternoon, so I had to change after the dancing. So
nice.
When we first started doing Wednesday nights, we had Matt Donnelly on with us, and Mike, myself, and Matt Donnelly all got on the show. And about 10 minutes into it, we all realized that we were wearing the same exact shirt. So not planned or anything. It was funny as hell. All three of us, same exact shirt.
That's great, though. I mean, it did a lot of good. Heath Cummings went with the RotoWare guy, Kenny, in South Florida and bought $6,000 worth of toys just off of shirt sales. And there was more than that. He actually sent some up to me to buy toys here in Minnesota with those shirt sales. So there was over $10,000 worth of charity done with just the shirt sales alone.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's amazing. Do you want to actually tell everybody who might not know exactly who you are? Because we're actually in a Facebook group right now where we have over 24,000 members. And a lot of these people are kind of amateurs when it comes to the world of fantasy. This could be their first season in there. So a lot of people don't know about what you do. Do you mind elaborating real quick?
Sure. Well, I have a lot of things I do. But, the thing people probably most know me for these days is I run a tournament called the Scott Fish Bowl. It basically serves to raise money to buy toys for kids all around the country and a few other charities as well. But that's the main thing it does. It's a no entry free tournament. You can sign up scottfishbowl.com to try and play next year. And what we do is we just, collect donations to spread around the country, different areas, buying toys for kids around Christmas time.
And it's absolutely a blast. I mean, I know a lot of analysts out there just die to get in this tournament every year.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure you've gotten some crazy bribes to try and get in.
I have, and I don't succumb to any of them. I've held to a long-held belief of you can't buy your way into this thing. So I've avoided giving away spots based on people trying to buy their way in.
That's amazing. I know that Sal was actually the guy that got me onto Twitter, and he does your SFB Podathon.
Right.
that raises money for charity as well. So he's actually the guy that got me from Facebook over to Twitter and into this phenomenal community that you guys have running.
Very nice.
So I'm excited for it. All right,
Very
Mike,
good,
do you want to go ahead and kick off this show and what we're going to be talking about?
Absolutely. So we're going to start off with a recap of week 14. And to be honest, you should be happy we had 2 guests on last week because they're the only people who could apparently predict quarterbacks. The rest of us were hot garbage. But what I will say is Nick gave you Derek Carr, who absolutely exploded against the Colts defense. Outstanding showing. And Zach went out on a limb and went Jalen Hurts the smash play. And you got to love the backbone that took. Like, that was an amazing call by him.
Yeah.
Absolutely stoked. Now, I will give a shout out to all of us for hitting our running backs. We went heavy into rookie running backs. Cooter went Cam Akers, Chase went J.K. Dobbins, and I went Jonathan Taylor. All 3 absolutely destroyed it for you, so I hope you made those plays. And then Cooter also pulled the Amari Cooper card, someone who I tend to be nervous predicting against because of the up and down, and she absolutely smashed that play. So hopefully you got into that week 15 with those calls, because what I can tell you is that our quarterbacks didn't get you there. I mean, I got the win with Phillip Rivers, but that was legitimately like a limp to the finish, not exactly a smash start. And if you listen to all my recommendations, you also played Gio Bernard. So I'm sorry. That did not go the way I expected. Tight ends, again, I got the win with Cole Kmet. And he was an inch from a great game. If you watched that game, J.J. Watt got to Trubisky like right as he was releasing to Kmet for what was an easy touchdown on a slant play. But still, our Schultz and Reed really didn't do anything, so I didn't have a tough win there. So I took 2. Cooter took 2 on this one. Chase came up, unfortunately, short on the predictions. But honestly,
God, that's my first week, I think.
I think it is, but
He's just here for the looks. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm just here for the look.
But the win for the week goes to Cooter. The reason for it is she actually picked top 12 plays. I just won because you guys were awful at the other 2 positions. So we're going to give Cooter the win. Like I said, not our best week, but hopefully you guys had enough studs that you didn't have to rely on those bargain basements. So
Scott,
what we want to do now.
Real quick, Scott, did you have anybody that you hit on last week that was kind of unexpected?
Not that it was unexpected. I think I had a pretty average week for me. I hit on some, missed on some. It was a pretty normal week for me.
Oh, yeah,
I can't think of anyone that I hit on that was completely unexpected. Maybe Russell Gage or Irv Smith really hit when I thought they would. So
Yeah, Irv Smith. There you go.
Love it.
Dude, that was a sexy tight end play.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get in a question real quick, and then we'll hop over to the next segment. Just because we have questions.
We have a couple comments. I mean, we have at least 2 or 3 there, right? Maybe 70. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and start it with Jared Cook or Jonnu Smith in Standard League from Facebook user. You want to start with that, Cooter?
Man, I'm not excited about either of these, if I'm being totally honest. My gut says Jared Cook, but I don't know what's going on with the Saints. I was devastated. As a Saints fan, I was devastated last week, and I think we're still rolling out with Taysom, and I just don't know. I'm uncomfortable answering this. I'll pass.
Scott, what do you have?
I think they're both more dart throw startable. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Jared Cook. I mean, the Chiefs are a team that just got obliterated by Gesicki and Shaheen and whatnot. The week before that, it was Gronk and Brait that had 140 plus. The week before that, it was like Waller and even Witten scored. So we're talking about 3 straight weeks. The Chiefs have been just destroyed by tight ends. Yep. I think it's a solid matchup for Cook, but he's so up and down that I don't know. I like him enough. He scored in 3 straight. So it would probably have to be Cook because Jonnu can disappear.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm 100% on Cook on this one, and I'm a huge Jonnu fan. I just think that the recency production of it could end up helping out a lot, especially when it comes to playing the Chiefs. So I'm on the same page.
Yeah, make it a clean sweep. I mean, this is obvious just based on the matchups alone. The Chiefs are a bottom 3rd team against tight ends. The matchup just favors them. And like we've talked about in the past too, John's been staying in the block a lot more than we want. So his opportunity share is a lot lower. I don't love either. I mean, I would be looking more on the waiver wire if I could. Someone mentioned earlier, like a Cole Kmet or someone like that, if that's an option. But if these are really all that you have, I think that you absolutely have to go Cook here.
All right. What are the thoughts on Lynn Bowden Jr.? You guys will find out about my thoughts soon. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off. Mike, do you want to start this one out?
Yeah, I think when we talk about Bowden, I mean, this was a guy that we were really happy got moved to Miami because there was opportunity there that he wasn't going to get. So the fact was, I mean, it's a good move for him, and it looks like he has a forward-thinking coach. What I loved about getting away from Gruden was that old-school mentality wasn't going to use a weapon like Bowden. Now, Miami found him almost by accident. I mean, Gaskin goes on the COVID list, Ahmed with the shoulder, like they almost got forced into the role, but I think they found something there. I think you have yourself a really nice PPR running back. I think you have somebody who almost like a Nyheim Hines type player that you're going to get. The problem with it is it's going to be spotty. I can't expect this production every single week. I mean, everything played into his favor. But I think that you have yourself a player right there. Now, the question is, though, and I haven't even checked on this, is how they're slotting him on certain websites. Like, do any of them still have him as a slot receiver? Or
well,
is
he actually
running back?
I am going to interject for a second because he's actually playing wide receiver. He hasn't been playing running back at all.
He's been playing slot wide receiver.
Yeah, and he's actually racking it up.
But my question is, though, isn't he labeled as a running back? At least he is on MFL.
Many sites have him as both, or a lot of sites just have him as running back, which is interesting.
And that's what I find interesting, because if he's playing that kind of slot receiver, and I thought he was lining up even as an H-back. I thought I saw him backed up off the line a little bit. That's how I was kind of envisioning him too.
Well, he did take one run, and he did take one in the backfield that he attempted a pass that he missed. So you might have saw one of those.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, and I think that they're going to use him all over the field, but I think he's going to be spotty. I just don't – he's not a guy I can be all in with, to be honest.
See, I don't – when you say not a guy you can use week to week, for me, like this point in the season when I'm looking at guys like that, I'm like, I don't care about 2 weeks from now, or I care about this week, because all that matters to me is right now in the playoffs. I need to win this weweek. Mm-hmm. And with Jakeem Grant likely out, Gesicki is probably out. Devontae Parker came out of that week dinged up. Even if he goes, is he hampered? I mean, he's shown that when he plays injured, he's not as effective. There are some players that play good when they're dinged up, and Devontae Parker has not been that guy. I think that this might be a week where you see he had 9 targets last week. You could see another 7, 8, 9, 10 targets out of him in a 1 week pinch. Your second or third flex spot. I kind of like him. I kind of like him in that spot. Yeah, but I'm probably with you. I don't know how much I'm going to trust him down the line, but for 1 week, he's okay.
So here's the thing, though. Even this week alone, Scott, what makes me nervous is the track record of rookie quarterbacks against Belichick defenses, and look what he just did to Justin Herbert. Yep. So my whole thing is, can Tua even if he gets a large target share, does Tua even go for over 150 yards this week? Like, how does the defense shut him down? That would be my hesitation. And I guess, I mean, it would depend if we have, the question was thoughts on Bowden, but if we have maybe some options, maybe we could do a pick 'em if the user's still on here and give us kind of a few options we might be able to play. But that would be my concern too this week in particular, is does Tua even throw for 150 yards? Like, that would be my hesitation.
And knows how I said second or third flex.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's not your starter.
way down.
Wide receiver 1. Just saying, there might be
right behind Devontae Adams, right?
There might be some stuff to come from that. So stay tuned because I've got a take on that I'm not going to announce right now. But Cooter, do you have any thoughts on Lynn Bowden?
No, not specifically, but I wanted to kind of stress what Scott's saying. I mean, I know like a week or two ago we were telling you guys to like plan out, get your, use your bench for a plan for the playoffs. But at this point, he's right. You got to just win each week as it comes. So if there's a guy out there and you got to, put him in and risk it, then do it because you just have to win this week.
All right, we're going to do one last question, then hop on to the next segment. We got Sal Powell. What's up, Sal? How you doing, man? He wants to know Jalen Hurts or Aaron Rodgers in a 3-quarterback league. Are you really playing a 3-quarterback league?
I wouldn't doubt Sal does.
Dude, I'm sure he does, man. Like he's all over the place.
Sure.
Absolutely love you.
He does.
So, Scott, you want to start out with this one?
Yeah, I'm not benching Rodgers. I love Jalen Hurts' floor, but I'm not benching Rodgers. It's Carolina's the middle of the pack defense. It's not a spot I can bench Rodgers at this point. I like Hurts, but that's a little too high up the ladder for me to do that. Sal would, though. Knowing Sal, he'll start Jalen Hurts.
Dude, I like that take. Man, I think I'm going to lean on Aaron Rodgers in this one. I can't go opposite of Scott when it comes to benching Aaron Rodgers because every time that I say bench Aaron Rodgers, he ends up backfiring in my face.
4 of the last 5 quarterbacks to face the Panthers had 280-plus yards and 3+ touchdowns. I mean, it's still a pretty dang good spot for Rodgers.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous.
All right.
I mean, man, yeah, I'm on board with that.
It says a lot about Hurts that, like, in your mind, you're thinking about it a little bit because of that huge rushing floor.
Anybody with that rushing upside, I'm going to be thinking about,
It's going to be a fast-paced game with against Arizona.
Tons of snaps.
Lots of plays, so.
I think Arizona leads the league in plays per game, and it's kind of funny, and snap percentages. So they don't use motions or anything. As soon as they get up to the line, they're snapping it almost immediately. So they're getting a ton of plays, a ton of opportunities, which is why it's questionable for me with Jalen Hurts. But I don't think I can bench Aaron Rodgers. I just can't.
All right, so let me shed some light on this question, Sal. And I love you to death for doing this to me on a live stream. So let me give you a little history on me and Sal. I was actually just on, this is a podcast I do last night with him, and told him about the first time that I ever got a retweet on Twitter was from Sal. And what it was, if you guys remember the movie Draft Day, when he has the Vontae Mack sticky note, and it says Vontae Mack, no matter what, takes it out of his pocket. If you haven't seen it, you call spoiler alert. It's like 5 years old. I don't feel bad for you anymore. But the first retweet I ever got was I sent Sal my draft guide, and it was a posted note that said, not Aaron Rodgers, no matter what. So now he has put me in a situation where I almost have to say Jalen Hurts just to stick with the brand. And I know you know that from last night, Sal. And so I'm gonna stick to my guns and say Jalen Hurts. That's who I'm gonna go with because I have to stay on brand. And I appreciate you putting me in this position, Sal. That was a fun question, but I'm gonna go Hurts just to stay on brand with this one.
Sal and I once live streamed each of us watching Draft Day together live. I'm not joking.
That is the best movie ever.
I love that movie, so I'm not hating on that at all. That's amazing.
Oh, every once in a while, like when I have this one friend I'll send a trade to, and I'll call him a pancake eating and literally just send the tweet with it. I'm like, I want all my picks back, every single one of them. And I'm waiting to find the day that I can pull off, like somehow get the top 7 picks in the draft for number 8. It was the greatest trade ever swindled.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump into this next segment. What do we have?
Next segment, we have players that may have been dropped you should give a look at. So this is normally, and I want to say normally, we go with the trending down section of Sleeper. Now, last week was a gold mine. And the reason for it, is because people were struggling. They had to get those 1-week plays. Now you're down to the final 4. Now you're down to your smarter plays. Now you're down to the top teams in the league. Man, there's not much. I'm just going to be honest. There's not much. I mean, really, you have Rashad Perryman's my first one. Darnold looked as rusty as his hair color, but Perryman was getting looks. I mean, he had 6 targets. There's a lot of talent there. This is a guy who's shown when he's healthy can go off. The problem is I only got 2 weeks left, and I don't know that I'm comfortable playing him until I know Darnold is healthy and back to normal. He has the Rams this week. He's an end-of-the-bench guy maybe for Week 16, but I don't love the play. We have Jordan Reed has a nice schedule. Now, the problem is Jordan Reed and Ross Dwelly are splitting time. They're splitting snaps. They're splitting target share. It's a tough one, but it's a good schedule. You have Hayden Hurst.
You got to be cautious on that one, though, because George Kittle was cleared for practice, I believe. He might actually come back this week or the next.
Yep, absolutely. And I've been touting that on Twitter too, that's a guy. One person said, do I blow all my fab on George Kittle? I said, of course, there's only 2 weeks left. Who else could be coming? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, of course you do.
Wow.
You do whatever you can. I mean, I'd love to know if he's coming back. But again, we're talking about, I hope you have better. Hayden Hurst, the guy people are giving up on. He's been pretty inconsistent, but still, Ryan hasn't been right. I don't think it's Hurst so much as it is Matt Ryan. And then Alan Lazard, he's been on a snap count. So Alan Lazard has been on a snap count.
That's my favorite.
If they put him back in. Now, let's be honest. This week on waivers, realistically, is more for the Dynasty players. What you're looking for, if you're in Dynasty right now and you are out of it, you need to be paying attention to the drops. People are making drops to get those 1 week plays. People are going all in and they're dropping veterans. I saw Jamison Crowder get dropped in a few leagues. Players like that if you're out, start looking at picking up injured. Start looking at picking up underperforming. Start looking at picking up those players that are getting left behind that have a possibility to move up. We're talking about scour those mock drafts. Who has a bad situation that could greatly be improved? The Jets and Jaguars are perfect examples of teams that are only going to get better because the quarterback position will improve in very short order. I would actually put the Patriots there as well. I don't think they go with Cam Newton. And realistically, you're talking 60 yards a game of passing, and people are giving up on some of the weapons there. These are the teams in Dynasty that you should be looking at. You shouldn't be looking at picking up the guys that are playing well right now. You shouldn't be looking at picking up Miami running backs, for example. Try to find those guys whose situations are going to improve and aren't looking at getting replaced. That's really where the gold is this week. Redraft waivers, not much. Lazard could be a home run in Week 16, but other than that, I mean, they're spotty plays at best.
Yeah, that Perriman one. I mean, Mims might be coming back, and the Rams are like one of the best teams in the NFL against wide receivers.
Yeah.
That is a really tough draw for me there. I do like the Reed call. I love the Lazard call. If he's available, you should grab him.
Yeah, he's been on a snap count. He has not been able to get those targets downfield. Somebody else that I've seen dropped in a lot of leagues was Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay is, I believe, on track to become a free agent this year. He's 1 year ahead of Royce Freeman because I believe he's either 7th round undrafted. Either way, he was on a 3-year contract. So I believe he should be a free agent this year. That's something I definitely want to look a little bit more into. And even Royce Freeman, who might not even make the roster next year, you know, he barely played this year. They don't have a reason to keep him on there. There's no kind of headache for that. So I do want to keep an eye on some of those people who could become free agents that could be dropped as well. Get that Ty Johnson type, opportunity.
Lindsay is a free agent, but he's restricted, so they may tender.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they didn't with the way Gordon's going, but I would love for him to get out of there. That would be spectacular.
All right. You want to answer some questions real quick?
Let's do it.
All right. Let me scroll back up to the top. We have questions coming in like crazy. Might have to go a couple of quick takes on this. So Watson, Hurts, or Cousins this week. We talked about Watson's potential. Cousins is somebody that might need to pass this week. Not so sure that it actually happens, but it's possible. And then Watson is playing like hero ball and, essentially kind of faltered this past week, although he should have gotten the end zone, ended up messing that one up. So how are you guys feeling about these three? By the way, that Akins drop crushed my soul when he couldn't see the ball. It hit him in like the shoulder.
After 2 drops on Thanksgiving, every time we tout him, the guy drops easy touchdown passes. That's how it works. So I'll tell you, I mean, looking at the matchups right now, they're not great. I mean, we talked about what Carr did to the Colts, but overall, that's a very, very solid defense. So you're looking at Hurts against the Cardinals. I mean, he has the best matchup. But if you were listening last week, at home, non-prime time Kirk Cousins, right?
There we go. I learned my lesson from you.
He's a different cat. Since week 1, he has thrown 3 touchdown passes in every single home game. His home road splits are beyond insane. And man, am I looking forward to a Trubisky Cousins shootout. I am really looking forward to the ugliness that could happen. So here's what I'm going to say. And anybody who, and you guys know, I'll tout the article here. Look at your opponent. If you need a floor, I'm actually going to go Jalen Hurts for floor here because of the rushing, right? That gives him a little bit of a floor. But if you look at your opponent and you're like, man, I am going to lose by 30 if I don't get a home run. Dang, I'm going Kirk Cousins. I'm going Kirk Cousins for a potential 30 or a negative 12 or maybe a negative 20 if you're playing in the fishbowl. But if you need that upside, Kirk Cousins at home is just a different cat. So safe bet, Jalen Hurts. Upside Kirk Cousins, and I can't believe I'm saying that, thinking what we were expecting from Deshaun Watson week 1. But, man, all his weapons are hurting. I don't like the matchup. I just don't see it from him this week, so that's how I'm calling it.
And I gotta back you up, Mike. He's not just saying, like, oh, over the past couple of, like, literally since week 6. Since week 6, Cousins has had that pattern. 3 touchdowns at home, and he's been home 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it's absurd. So I got to go Cousins.
Yeah. I would go Cousins as well, and I really like the call on Jalen Hurts being the floor just because of his rushing. I mean, Cousins had 292 and 2 scores last time against the Bears, and the Bears' biggest weakness is their slot coverage, and the Vikings have 2 guys that run the slot that are pretty good. So I do think it's a little bit of a mismatch there. You see Bears and you think, oh man, it's a tough draw, but I do think it's not as bad as say the Colts for Watson.
The Bears also tend to struggle with the deep ball from time to time. Jalen Johnson over there on the left outside, or I guess on the defense's right outside, but on the offense's left outside, Jalen Johnson has allowed some big plays over there. He has interceptions, and he actually has some pass deflections, and he's actually rated pretty well overall on PFF, but he does let big plays happen. So once again, Kirk Cousins, excellent with the deep ball from time to time. He could absolutely nail a strike on this one. I like that call. I'm sticking with you, Mike. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right,
Strikes
Sanders
is not in football, by the way, but okay.
What? Say it
Strikes are not in football, Chase.
oh yeah, you're right. You're probably right on that. All right, Sanders, J-Rob, Mike Davis, Chubb, pick 3 standard league.
Well, it's obvious why you're in the playoffs, man.
Yeah. Dude, some of these teams are so ridiculous over there on fantasy football discussion. Like, you guys are just dominating your leagues, and I love that. Fantasy football discussion on Facebook. You guys are on Facebook, go join it.
I'm going to go easy and say not Sanders. He's shown nothing. He has absolutely shown nothing.
Last week,
Mike Davis is in a smash spot, right? Mike Davis is a smash for me this week. Absolute smash. Sounds
like McCaffrey.
You can't sit.
And you can't sit Chubb,
You
I
can't.
think we were about to say the same thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, I think this is pretty easy. It's the last 3, and you go with the production.
Ravens make me nervous a little bit, but I'll get on board with you on that one. I'm nervous about it, but I'll get on board over Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders did have that big breakaway run. It was kind of funny. I was on down to Talk Fantasy Football last week, and I was like, yeah, Miles Sanders, like, he's already running, I think he was at like 5.8 yards per carry or something ridiculous like that. And I was like, you can't really get much better than his, the yards per carry that he's already getting. So the efficiency isn't really going to go up. So he's going to need volume, and I need volume. And then he goes out and has an even crazier week last week when it came to his yards per carry, I believe, if I remember correctly. So.
Oh yeah, but that's what it is, though, right? We've been saying all along, the only person who stopped Miles Sanders this year is Doug Peterson. None of the defenses have. Like, his numbers have all been solid. When he gets on the field, he plays great. But how do you trust a coach that just isn't giving the guy more than 9 touches a game? It scares the heck out of me.
The fact that that's standard, does it put Davis and Sanders closer for you?
It does, because the matchup for Davis really favors him doing it through the air. So it does put it closer. But what I do like, though, Scott, if you looked at what they've been using Davis for, when they get down in the red zone, he's getting the ball. They're not doing those small touch passes with Teddy. They are giving him the ball anytime they get close. So especially where touchdowns are even heightened. I mean, he's their red zone threat, whether it be a swing pass or a run up the gut. Davis has been getting the touchdowns over anybody else. So that's why I still lean his way. But you're absolutely correct. It's closer in a standard league, but I'm still keeping with Davis.
17 red zone touches in the last 3 weeks for Davis.
Yeah, that's absurd.
It's something as to where the Green Bay Packers have been porous, up against the running back, whether it be on the yard or on the ground or in the air. I mean, they're allowing 93, almost 94 yards per game to the running back on the ground alone, and a touchdown per game. So I'm sitting there and I like Mike Davis. I think Mike Davis is a lock for me.
And then, to add on to that, y'all were saying that Hurts, one of his benefits is that his rushing, right? Does that take away from Sanders getting some of that,
That's what I thought. And then the efficiency went through the roof last week. So I'm hoping that, I don't think that's going to be, repeated. So let's hop into this next question. Full PPR, pick a flex, Curtis Samuel, Sammy Watkins, Hunter Renfrow, Antonio Brown, Jeff Wilson. Man, we got to pick one flex out of all these.
If Mostert doesn't go, I'm taking Jeff Wilson.
I love Jeff Wilson.
Easy Jeff Wilson.
Shanahan said earlier today that he thinks Mostert's going to go. The MRI seemed fine, and they're just going to rest him most of the week. But if he's hampered, Jeff Wilson's in a really, really good spot.
And I think he's outperforming Mostert, right?
Even with Mostert on the field the last couple weeks, Jeff Wilson had 7 red zone touches in the last 2 weeks. And all the other 49ers running backs combined for 3. I mean, he's definitely the guy down there. And weirdly, with his size, you wouldn't think of it like that, but he rams into people. He doesn't try to be elusive. He just runs straight.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the issue for half of these 49ers running backs is they're trying to run a similar offense to the Titans with Derrick Henry, but these guys aren't built like Derrick Henry. So, and this is the same exact offense that they're running over there in Green Bay. It's the same offense. It's a wide zone run scheme with a little bit more of a complicated vibe to it than the Tennessee Titans, but still it's the same offense essentially. But yeah, I actually had a question earlier today on Twitter, Mike Davis or Jeff Wilson. Which one would you guys lean in that realm?
Davis
easily. Yeah. I mean, let's not pretend like you can't get Shanahan at any moment, right? Like that's just what you roll the dice with. So while I like Wilson's ceiling, his floor is legitimately 0. Like they could somehow bust out if Tevin Coleman decided to tape up and show up like Shanahan puts him on the field. If Mostert, even if he's hampered, may touch the ball. Like I just can never trust the usage for 49ers. Every time I get comfortable and think one's a smash play, it blows up in my face. Like I've never personally hit it right, I don't think. So I would go Davis fairly easily in that particular combo. And in this one, I mean, you have more coming off the COVID list. It's not week 1, Sammy Watkins, Renfrow, and Brown. I don't really know how you can trust either of them with their usage right now. So you have a ton of wild cards. So when you have wild cards, running back is usually the safe play. Even in PPR, in this case, full PPR, running backs, I think the safer play. But Mike Davis, I think, is a smash play, whereas Jeff Wilson's a little bit of a lottery ticket.
Cooter, do you have anything to add for that?
I was going to say if Wilson's out, my gut says Samuel just because he's getting more of the receptions and if it's PPR. But
yeah, I mean, he was 7 for 9, I believe, for 82 yards or 62. I can't remember. It was something up there. He put up 16 PPR points.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
he's been pretty consistent lately. I agree with that.
He has,
if Mostert's out, or if Mostert does play,
correct.
Then
out of that group, yeah.
All right, so real quick, let's go through some rapid fire, and we'll hop into this next segment. Okay, Connor or Wilson Jr. Everybody on board with Wilson?
Yeah.
Yep.
Scott? Yep. Cool.
Yep. I'm nodding. Say yep.
Start or sit McLaurin up against the Seahawks this week? We're thinking that Dwayne Haskins is going to be in there, so that makes me nervous, but I would start him as well.
Oh, yeah. Have to start him. Seahawks still.
All right. What about, let's see, wide receiver issue. Who do I start and who to flex? I want you guys to go take a second, go to youtube.com/fantasy intervention after the show's done, of course, and go look at the quick shot that Dave Kluge put together for Brandon Ayuk. It is absolutely amazing through the roof. It's a 2-minute watch. YouTube.com/fantasy intervention. We're doing these quick shots on a regular basis now. We got about 10 coming out a week of these, guys who are questionable whether you want to start them or not. So these people should be on there on the YouTube page, youtube.com/fantasy intervention. You guys can make your decision after hearing what they have to say.
who's he starting that these are his flex options?
I know.
Justin Jefferson
told
should
you.
be starting all leagues, and Ayuk should be started everywhere this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's ruining my flex play call we're about to do. But yeah, I easily top 10, and so is Jefferson. They're both top 10 wide receivers this week.
With Samuel out most of the game last week, Ayuk had 16 targets. 3 weeks ago, when Samuel was out, he had 10 targets, or no, 14 targets, something like that. He's had 17 catches, nearly 200 yards and a score in the last 2 games without Samuel.
And it actually
Ayuk has
spans
to be.
back like 5 or 6 games, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
it's ridiculous.
Well,
Yeah,
it
I'm
does
just
say-
going with the last 2 because
Yeah.
the last 2 have been ridiculous.
It does say who do I start and who to flex. So I think you start Jefferson, start Ayuk, and then flex Evans. That's what I would say.
I think we need one of each, right? But yeah, I agree with what you just said.
Oh, if it's one start and one flex, it's Jefferson and Ayuk, and it's honestly
Yeah,
not
hands
really
down.
close to me.
Yeah, if I'm ranking them this
I
week,
like them all,
Ayuk,
but-
Jefferson, Evans, Hilton in that order. I know why Hilton's on there because he's been blowing up the past 2 weeks, but still, Evans is getting the red zone targets. But it's Ayuk, Jefferson, Evans, and Hilton in that order for me.
All right, we'll go ahead and finish off with one more question, Scott. This one's for you, and then we'll go into our next segment. Is there a spot to ask?
I had not planned that. I don't know how we would end up giving one away.
No.
I probably could have advertised
Just close
that
your
before
eyes
the show.
and go in the comments, and then just go scroll up and down until you hit somebody.
I will say keep watching because I'm not sure.
Okay, that works.
And
Let's do it.
watch all of Chase's shows because you never know when one will pop up. How's that?
That'd be amazing. I would love
That's the best marketing ever.
it. All right, let's go ahead and hop in this next segment. Mike, what do we have?
Flex plays with smash matchups, people who are outside the consensus top 12 that you absolutely have to play. And the Thunder has been stolen with the first one. It's Brandon Ayuk. I don't know how much we want to cover on that, but he's a guy right now. He's coming in at consensus ranking 15. And I can't find a way to keep him out of like my top 7 this week. Like that's how good this guy is. This is a league winner for you. This isn't a guy you're going to play with. Get him in the lineup. Again, Thunder a little bit stolen. Mike Davis against Green Bay. Let's face it, they will make anybody look good. I have no concerns with getting him in there, running back 1. And then Nyheim Hines is my third one. Jonathan Taylor is a top 5 play this week. But the good news for you, if you have Hines, is Houston is bad enough to give up points to anybody who touches the football. So Hines could very easily back into that 15 spot. He's a guy who I think if you're looking for a flex play has considerable upside against this defense. So these are guys that are right now outside of your consensus starts that you're kind of fluctuating on. And I think all 3 of them need a spot in your lineup this week.
I do want to answer a question really quick because Cameron has typed in twice now. If you want to check out our DFS episode, go to youtube.com/fantasy intervention. I just finished tomorrow night's DFS episode. It's in YouTube, and I believe it will be uploaded to Fantasy Intervention's podcast page and whatever source you listen to. It'll be uploaded tonight. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that across because he typed in twice now. Anybody else, Scott, that you think is like borderline flex that you wanted to bring up?
I actually haven't looked too hard into it, but I just wanted to say on Ayuk, I mean, Dallas has allowed 22 wide receiver touchdowns this year. That's
Oh my
ridiculous.
God. No way.
22 in 13 games. It's unreal. But no, I hadn't really looked at outside the top 12. I can look for a second while you talk to someone else, perhaps. But
I mean, you could just throw your 2 cents in for the next segment. That works too.
Sure.
All right. By the way, the second team, the team that allows the second most is the Vikings. That is crazy. I can't believe they allowed that many touchdowns. I mean, I know that Jordan Lewis is bad, but geez.
Have you seen our defensive back? Like, can you name a Vikings defensive back? You might be able to, but
Yeah, I can.
I can. I'm a Vikings fan, but most people can't even name a Vikings defensive back. It's not a good situation. Cornerback, I should say. Everyone can name Harrison Smith.
Yeah, Harrison Smith has been a staple there. Are you guys actually going to keep him after the season, or what's going on?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No. Who do you guys have healthy this week? It's Dantzler. Gladney's out, right?
I don't think he's going to be out.
Okay, he's going to be in.
I'll have to check. Yeah, I'm glad you got Dantzler. He's actually played really well this year. A lot better than people expected.
And then Chris Jones is the other guy starting.
Man, you're pretty good.
I'm trying to remember. Did I get that right? Is Chris Jones actually starting?
No, I actually don't think so. No, I don't. I think he might have. I think he might come in, but I don't think he's start.
Okay. I haven't done my DFS research yet, so I'm a little bit off. But I liked Mitch Trubisky, so I wanted to bring that up. All right,
Trubisky's a good call this week.
Yeah. Oh, I love that call. It's going to be very passive, but we're about to get into that. Let's go ahead and answer a few more questions, knock these out, and then we'll get into it. Gallman, McKissick, Brandon Cooks, T.Y. Hilton. Need one for the flex. I am going to go with Brandon Cooks this week. It's a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to go Brandon Cooks up against what they have the Colts this week, correct? I think that Moore over there. Yeah, Moore's over there as a slot guy. So I don't think that they're going to actually feature Kiki Kuti or what's the other guy's name? Not Hayden. Is it Hayden? The other wide receiver? Hansen.
Chris Hansen or Chad Hansen?
Chad Hansen. I don't think Chad Hansen's going to be able to handle it on the outside. I don't think that Kiki Kuti is going to be able to do much in the slot up against Moore, who, by the way, has a few big games, but he's been better as of late. Brandon Cooks, I think, is the lock in here for me. But PPR makes it interesting with T.Y. Hilton, obviously, and Gallman and the McKissick. I mean, any one of these guys they're all kind of on the same level, so it's a good question.
I've looked foolish enough doubting Gallman at this point that I just can't do it anymore. It's a middle of the road matchup. It's not a great matchup, but they have been susceptible on the ground. A lot of the damage, obviously, this week done across the board, split up a little bit. But you have Gus Edwards picking up 2 this week, Dobbins picking up 1, and if I remember correctly, Jackson had 2 as well on the ground. So I think there were 5 on the ground this week. They've been giving up 4 yards a carry and almost a touchdown a game, and that's what Gallman's been doing. The only concern is there was a quick injury report on Daniel Jones, which we may be back to Colt McCoy. Now, I made that mistake last time. I doubted him. He busted out that 80-yard run. I'm just going to go with Gallman just because I see some question marks here. But you're right. It is honestly, if you have a gut call here, that's what you should be going with. Because if I was going to stack rank my flex people, these guys would literally be like one on top of another. Like I don't think there's an obvious one here, but I'm going to go Gallman just because he's been putting up the numbers week in and week out. I mean, he's been a good play, so I'm sticking with him.
Cooter?
Yeah, I don't know what's kind of psychological. I know we talk about like recency bias and all these things. I don't know what it is, but I have Gallman on some teams and he just hasn't let me down. So whatever that psychological term is, I have it and I gotta say go Gallman.
Scott?
So I think I'm gonna lean with you, Chase. I think Gallman's probably the safe play, but I think Cooks, like 3 out of the last 4 top receivers to face the Colts have topped 100 yards, and A.J. Brown had 98 yards. So, like, he was almost there. And Xavier Rhodes left last week with an injury. He might be dinged up. Even if he doesn't play, Rocky Sin has not been great on the other side. I think it's a spot where if Cooks is healthy enough, Watson will get him enough. I think he's the upside play here, and I don't think his floor is that bad. But Gallman is the safest of there. But I think, like me personally, I might lean Cooks.
Yeah, I mean, when we sit there and we look at some of the receivers that Xavier Rhodes has faced and struggled against, typically they're speed receivers. You know, he's a bigger, more physical cornerback who likes to jam the line and does really well against guys like Kenny Golladay, for example. But anytime that he has anybody that has any kind of wheels on him, I mean, we're talking about big-time numbers. So I'm going to go Brandon Cooks for sure on this one.
And Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones has torched Xavier Rhodes forever. For some reason, he cannot do anything against Marvin Jones.
It's the 4 touchdown game last year?
I think in the last 4 games, he's had a 4 touchdown, a 2 touchdown, a 2 touchdown, and then even with a new team this year, Marvin Jones got a touchdown on him.
Yeah,
Marvin Jones had a 2 touchdown game, but only 1 was on Rhodes this year.
Yeah, you're familiar with Xavier Rhodes. That's right.
Way too familiar. He was amazing for a while, and then he was terrible.
Last year,
and now he's better this year. He's better this year.
He was actually at one point graded out as the number 1 corner on the year. He was shutting everybody down.
Yeah, he's much better this year.
All right, Trubisky or Bridgewater? I'm going to refrain from this, Cooter. If you want to start us out, Trubisky or Bridgewater?
I would go Trubisky. I don't trust Bridgewater as much. And I know that sounds crazy, but I also am. I hear what you guys say. I'm going Trubisky.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, so I don't want to steal too much. I feel like you like Trubisky based on a couple of times you said. I don't want to steal too much thunder either. But it's Trubisky here. Trubisky here for me. This is an interesting matchup where we got Allen Robinson, who is like 4th in the league in 20+ yard plays, and Minnesota is 2nd worst in the league, allowing 48 20+ yard plays, pass plays. Like, it's just a terrible matchup there. I I think this might end up being a little bit higher scoring than people expect, but I like Trubisky here. I'll just say that, and I'll let you deal with Trubisky later.
All right, that works for me. Mike?
Yeah, I've already called the shootout. I'm going to let you do the stat part of it, but it's Trubisky and not close for me in these two.
I'll take that. I'll take it. All right, so let's go ahead. Sorry, I'm not on the screen. Let's go ahead and hop on to one more question, and then we'll get moving. Let me make sure that I'm on the right one. Man, we got a lot of questions this week. All right, one more.
What do we got?
All right, we got the semifinal opponent who has Diggs. So this actually plays a big part with, the Bills and Josh Allen. So does Bo start Taysom Hill over Josh Allen this week?
No.
I'm a Saints fan, and no, don't do it.
Scott?
No, don't do it. I mean, Josh Allen has had at least 300 yards and or multiple touchdowns in all but one game, I think, this year. Like, that's ridiculous consistency. I can't bench Josh Allen.
No.
Oh, man, I got to put one more in there because it's from Tio's girlfriend. Higgins, Irv Smith Jr., PPR, tight end premium. Oh, man.
Premium? I'm going Irv Smith.
Yeah, it's Irv Smith for me.
Yeah.
And plus, Irv Smith is, even though he was dinged up and played limited last week, he still did okay, and he was at practice, and Carl Rudolph still isn't at practice. Yep. So,
I love it. I absolutely love it. I actually got on the show sheet earlier than I normally do to make sure that I showed my love.
Make sure you got Trubisky locked in. I saw you right there.
Trubisky and somebody else.
Oh man, yeah. Normally
it was actually for the tight end, but yeah. Go ahead and hop into this to this last segment, Mike. You want to let us know what we're looking at?
So now we are going to go with those smash plays outside the top 20 running back and wide receiver, top 15 quarterback and tight end who have a chance to finish top 12 in their position and why. So Scott, your chance here, you get kind of two options on how you want to play this. You can either A, come up with your own name if you'd like, or B, you get to vote on who you think is going to win this week based on our three choices. So your call. If you like our three or you got one, go with it. It's up to you.
I would like to do some voting. And I want to say to Dingus4 in the chat, I agree with you. Dantzler and Gladney in time will be pretty good. They look like they have potential.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would like to vote.
All right. So I think realistically, let's be honest. We know who Chase is going to be. So Chase, why don't you kick off quarterback because you have been teasing it forever. I just want to hear what you got and go ahead and call out your guy.
Oh man, I'm going to go Brandon Allen this week. No, I'm just kidding. I am 100% hands down going with Mitchell Trubisky. Scott already brought it up. Minnesota's allowing the 30th most explosive plays, or at least at that rate. Overall, with 48 passing plays of over 48 yards, of over 20 yards. So, yeah, Mitchell Trubisky is an absolute smash play for me. Not only that, but Minnesota's defense up against the running back has actually been a lot better at it. So I think that this game could turn into somewhat of a shootout as we explore some of the possibilities of not only like Dalvin Cook being able to go off, but the fact that, like Scott brought up earlier, once again, the Chicago Bears kind of struggle in the slot. So this is a game where, like, I know there's probably not going to be as many plays run. Trubisky, with 3 straight weeks of over 18 fantasy points, almost 800 passing yards, 2 touchdowns with a rushing upside from time to time, not always, in a division rivalry matchup with the playoffs on the line. Like, there's just so much to this. We can just keep on tacking on and tacking on and tacking on and tacking on. It could go forever. So I'm going Mitch Trubisky. I think he's an absolute smash play.
All right, and I see that Cooter called a last-minute audible
Yeah.
that we're going to allow. We'll allow it.
All right.
And she wants to cover the same game, so go ahead, Cooter. Why don't you go ahead and give your
So I talked myself into this. Last week I was high on Cousins, and then Mike was like, hey, he's on the road. And I'm looking at the stats here. It says he's going to have his baba, he's going to have his pillow, he's going to have his bubble bath. He's at home this week. So it's going to be Cousins. It's Cousins for me.
Oh, man. Mike, what you got?
So I'm going to go Jared Goff. For any of you who remembered when I apparently brought out all the Devontae Booker truthers to attack me on Twitter when I said he was a trap play against the Jets stopped the run. They don't stop the pass. Made that call that week. You saw what Carr did. You saw what Darren Waller did. I think this is a Jared Goff game. I think we've been talking about the Rams passing attack being league winners. I don't want to hear game script. Like I said, we're talking about a team that has no wins and yet they're still giving it up. I am trying to get as much of that Rams passing game as I can this week against the Jets. And I think Jared Goff, even though they might go ahead and give him the Gatorade in the third quarter, I think he'll do enough damage early on to be a top 12 play pretty easily. I love him this week. I think he's a guy I'm trying to get in my lineup as much as humanly possible against that terrible Jets secondary. You think you can't name someone from the Vikings squad? At least you have Harrison Smith. The Jets, I don't think, have anybody that belongs in the NFL back there. So I'm going matchup, and I'm going with Jared Goff.
Mike, do you have any idea over the last 6 games? I just wrote up, like I do, I write up all the games, like every player before I do my radio prep for like radio shows on the weekend. I wrote up Jared Goff this morning, and over the last 6 weeks, the Jets are allowing to quarterbacks averaging 325 yards passing and 3.33 touchdowns per game to quarterbacks over the last 6 weeks. That's insane.
It is amazing, isn't it, what they do?
Mind-boggling how bad that is.
Oh,
man.
I love it, though. The thing that scares me, though, is the volume, man. The volume. I don't know. Scott, who you side with on this one? Are you going with Kirk Cousins? Are you going to go with Trubisky? Or are you going to go with Jared Goff?
Oh, man. My only concern with I love all 3 plays. I absolutely love all 3 plays. I just think I have to go with Goff. I think he's in the best smash spot. I can see a position where Cousins, I love him this week, but there have been so many times where he drops down into the low 20s in attempts. And if that happens, which I don't think it will, but if that happens, it's a little more riskier. I think I'm just reading Goff.
18 plus fantasy points. Doesn't matter if he's home or not.
I know. I have them all like in the same like 12 to 15, 16 range in my core, 11 to 15, whatever. But I just have Goff the highest among them.
All right. Let's go quick fire.
I'm sorry. I love them all. I love them. I love all those calls.
Oh man. So let's go quick fire real quick. And let's just hammer a few of these out. Yeah, because we got so many of them. Mike Davis, Cooter, make this out.
Davis.
Yeah, I think we had called this one earlier, maybe in another, but yeah, for sure, Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Davis, all around, cool. Yep. Drake, Connor, he plays, or Wilson. So if he doesn't play, I'm going Wilson in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
not Connor. I think Drake and whoever the healthy 49ers guy is. If Mostert plays, it's him. If not, it's Wilson.
Correct.
Yep. The Eagles are really tough to run against. Like, you have to be physical. You have to be really physical with the Eagles to beat them in the running game.
Physical.
Was that you, Cooter?
I think that was Olivia Newton-John, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, Murray or Brady? Let's go ahead and cover that one first. Mike, you want to start us out?
Yeah, I'm going Murray against the Eagles. I think he's starting to get right there. Murray's the play pretty easily, top 5 quarterback this week.
Yeah, Murray, McLeod tore his ACL. Avonte Maddox is likely out. Darius Slay is in the concussion protocol, might be out. Like, they don't have a secondary this week.
Not that they had a secondary before, but, you know.
Yeah, Murray's been a little weird since the shoulder injury, but I'm still going him.
Well, he also does a good job of torching teams that have a high blitz percentage too. So, because he's able to escape the pressure, and then they're left with nothing back there. So either the Eagles don't blitz this week, which in that case, Murray can, step back and actually throw the ball a little bit to some of his better receivers. Keep an eye out for Andy Isabella. Oh, did I just call that?
You were trying to ride that twice, huh?
I might.
Just like you bet on black. I don't know. Doing it twice might end up costing you. You should just leave.
No, Scott, that time where Andy Isabel actually had a good week, had a 2-touchdown performance. I called that, and
Nice.
yeah, I've called some really weird breakouts. Colin Johnson was a weird one. I've just had some really unique breakouts, and Donna Peoples Jones was another one. But
I love when that happens too, because you feel like a king of the world for a while. On my radio, on the radio show we do here in Minnesota, it's actually syndicated nationally. But I called Chase Claypool before his the day before his 2 days before his 4-touchdown breakout. I said, everybody get this guy in your lineup this week. This is the week. 4 touchdowns, and I'm still energized from that.
I love it.
I'll tell you, the one that pumped me up the most, and I think Chase and Cooter heard this one. 2 days before they named Taysom Hill the starter, I called him 200 yards passing and 2 touchdowns when everyone had Winston as the starter. Put my money down on Wednesday. They named him the starter on Friday, and he went 240 and 2 touchdowns. I will never make a call that good for the rest of my life, but I'm also going to try to live off of that one for as long as I can.
Dude, Kidder called Latavius Murray recently. That was fire.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be honest though. I don't know what to think with these guys. It's like the 1 week I was certain the Saints were going to win was last week. That was the one week all these times that I was certain, and so now I'm just like in that Saints zone where I'm just like I don't know what to expect anymore.
Well, at least you have a winning record, okay? Because I'm pretty sure
that is nice.
The rest of our teams are not in the winning brackets.
No. All right, so we have to get some wide receiver help here. We need to pick 3. Oh, these are good options too. My goodness.
It's the first 3 for me.
Same.
I've been looking at this while you were talking a little bit, and it's just DJ Moore going up against a Packers secondary that's like what 3rd or 4th fewest yards to receivers. Jair Alexander. I just don't like that matchup, and I actually like the matchups of the first 3. So
yeah, agreed. I think that's an easy call.
All right, so Scott, I heard that you're actually a defense expert, right? You study, right?
Yes, big time. No, this would be me throwing darts at this one.
It feels like Baltimore. That sounds right from what I can tell. I don't have a clue either.
That's why I brought Scott on the show, is because he's an expert on the defense.
I'm going to go with Arizona's defense because that Philly offensive line is terrible, and they allow a decent amount of sacks. So
plus, that Arizona team does have a little.
That's not fair though, because Hurts they're not sacking. It was Wentz they were sacking. Now I don't even know.
Yeah.
Baltimore defense.
I'm so sorry. I'm terrible with defenses.
All right, pick up Fournette and play him over Drake or Connor.
No, he was a healthy scratch. You can't play healthy scratch.
I was drinking while you read that one. Don't do that.
We gotta clip that. We gotta clip that.
That was amazing. So Scott's clearly going for Fournette. I'm gonna go Drake.
1 hour, 6 minutes, and 50 seconds to clip.
Wow.
That was a healthy scratch last week. He's on the waiver wire for a reason. He will be on the NFL waiver wire for a reason very shortly.
Scott, have you seen anything as to why he was a healthy scratch? Because it's killing me. He was dominating the stats for like 5 straight weeks, and all of a sudden he's a healthy scratch like minutes before the game.
No, I haven't
had
seen
to be
anything.
something, right? Like Bruce Arians will come out after the game ends and call out Tom Brady for being terrible, at throwing passes. Meanwhile, he won't tell us what's going on with Leonard Fournette and why he benched him. It's driving me nuts.
Just don't play Fournette, please. It's getting me Drake by literally a country mile in this one.
Oh man! All right, let's just see. All right, last one, and then we'll hop into it. Actually, we'll do 2 back-to-back. We got Tannehill or Watson. I'm going Watson this one. Indianapolis, like we talked about earlier, is getting somewhat porous in the secondary. And honestly, to start the season, I want to say they went like 8 or 9 straight weeks with facing some terrible quarterbacks, which made their secondary look better than what they actually are. We talked Xavier, I'm sorry. What's his name, Matt? That we were just talking about, the cornerback.
Xavier Rhodes?
Xavier Rhodes, yes. We talked about Xavier Rhodes and how Xavier Rhodes has looked good, but really he didn't play too many great wide receivers during that time that he looked phenomenal. This is something else to wear.
Play.
I'm going Watson.
This is really tough for me. When you guys want to take it, I have these guys really close. The Lions, I mean, they've allowed 9 touchdowns to quarterbacks over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, they have, but
I have a tough time benching Watson. I mean, Tannehill had a stretch there where he was like a little hit and miss. So I think Watson's a little safer for me, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say safe as well. I mean, when you look at the Lions, when you look at the overall numbers, and Scott, you just touched on it, 9 touchdowns in the past 4 games, but 7 in 2 of them, which means there's only 2 left in the other 2, right? And if you look across the board with the Lions, it is literally boom or bust like I've never seen. Like they'll give up 4 touchdowns, then 1, 3 touchdowns, then 1, then 0. And granted, these aren't against stud quarterbacks, but neither is Tannehill. I mean, he's had the tendency to disappear, and I think this is going to be a huge Derrick Henry game. I mean, we've been calling him a league winner from week 1. So I think this is a huge just lean on the run game. I don't think the volume's there, so I am absolutely going Watson. Tannehill scares me.
You think it's going to be a huge Henry game when the Lions have allowed the 5th most yards to running backs and the most touchdowns to running baks, and you think Henry's going to have a big game? It's crazy.
I know. It's going to be my new Taysom Hill. That's my Hail Mary play. Play Derrick Henry in the flex over Leonard Fournette. That is my call, and I'm sticking with it.
Scott, you thought that the Cowboys and the Vikings gave a lot of touchdowns to the wide receiver. 23 touchdowns allowed to the running back from the Lions. That's
5 more than any other team. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. Honestly, I'm curious who's going to get more touches, Tannehill or Derrick Henry.
It's going to be Henry. I think Henry touches it 32 times this week. Easy.
I think McNichols could actually be a league winner because they might pull Derrick Henry out in the 3rd.
I picked him up in several leagues just in case.
Yo, could you imagine playing McNichols in hopes that he could put up an RB1 performance in 1 quarter?
I will tell you though, but this week you pick him up because freaking COVID's happening. Weird healthy scratches. Like there is so much that leads up to game time that I would rather it. Oh,
I will screenshot you 4 rosters where I picked him up last week. You may laugh, but I actually did.
All right, Cooter, what's your take on this? Tannehill or Watson?
I'll go with Watson. I mean, I don't think Tannehill's not going to lose you the match. I don't think he's going to just bomb, but I would rather go with Watson.
All right, last but not least, kick us off, Cooterdoodle, with this question. Mims or Mostert if he plays? This is coming over from Taylor.
I don't know. I'm scared. I think if Mostert plays, you got to play Mostert.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not starting any Jets passing game or running game or special teams or defense or anything against that Rams team. I'm just not.
What about the kicker?
Honestly, in my write-up, I said I think the Jets might get shut out here. I'm not starting anyone for the Jets.
So there is one thing is that if you're in Linda's punting league, the Jets punter should have more touches than possibly anybody else on the team. So if you get punting yards, I would expect the Jets to get a lot of those this week. So that's the one start for the Jets.
All right, let's go ahead and kick off this next segment since we've wasted a lot of time on these questions.
All right, so we're running backs now, and we're going to start. I'm going to go. Me and Chase are going to go first, and then Cooter. And the reason for it is we're going heads up on this one, homie. We both love the Jacksonville matchup. You are going with the solid, while I am going with the upside. So I'll kick it off. It's J.K. Dobbins for me. How in this economy can J.K. Dobbins be the running back 22 against Jacksonville? That is insane. Now, we're going to have a little fight because we can both talk the matchup all week. It doesn't help us because we're going heads up. I'm going to go the upside, big play on J.K. Dobbins. I'm going to go with the get-right game, get the rookie his touches because I think this is a blowout for Baltimore. I think they're going to get him the ball. I don't think they need the safety of Edwards. I want to see J.K. Dobbins have his breakout game this week, have his 170 yards like Akers did. I'm going Dobbins as a very high upside play this week.
So I got really excited to type in my tight end, right? And then I was like, ooh, I want to call my quarterback. Well, I'll go ahead and type him in too. And then I called my wide receiver because it was my number 1 waiver wire pickup of the week, which we're going to dive into. And then I got on for the show tonight and I realized that I did not pick a running back. So I did not read your running backs and I ended up picking Gus Edwards. I didn't realize you picked J.K. Dobbins, but Gus Edwards has been extremely efficient, so I don't hate it. but I actually like Jeff Wilson more. I'm still going to stick with Edwards because that's what I typed down on the show sheet. But the efficiency's through the roof, and honestly, we don't know what to expect from this running game. Like I picked J.K. Dobbins last week, and of course, he got overshadowed by Edwards. So I'm going to go Edwards again this week, and yeah, just hope that he outperforms J.K. Dobbins.
Cooter, looks like you have a couple here. Which one were you finalizing?
I have two. I mean, I know we talked a lot already about Wilson if Mostert doesn't play, so I won't go deep into him. But I think I don't know if Ahmad Ahmed is playing this week.
Ahmed.
Yep.
Oh,
Salvin Ahmed.
I learned that after
My
like
bad.
4 episodes of saying his name.
I still say Kamara and Kamara, but Ahmed, I don't know if he's playing this week, but if he's not, either him or Washington, because if you look at, I mean, I know everyone was all about Akers last week against New England's defense, but he's not the only one that did it. If you go back and you look at Zach Moss, one of his highest games was 14 for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns against New England. You look at Jeff Wilson, had roughly the same 17 for 112, 3 touchdowns against New England. Kenyon Drake, week 12, 22 for 78, 2 touchdowns against New England. So I just think whoever is going to get the ball in Miami, whoever it ends up being to this running back situation, they're going to have a big game.
It's kind of crazy. New England and Baltimore both struggle in short yardage situations up against the run. So, it's something else where I could see this actually happening, for the Miami Dolphins. I just don't know if the offensive line has enough push, but it makes perfect sense. I actually like the picks.
Yeah, so Chase, we've talked about the Patriots rush defense and the DMs, and
Yep,
one of the things that they do is they play everybody standing up. They basically play their base defense is a dime. It's where their strength is, and they haven't replaced the defensive tackle. They had Shelton, they had Malcolm Brown. Now they have nobody. Even the guys they're playing, they're really looking at pass rushers, and they're standing everybody up at the line. So what they're not giving up is huge breakout plays because that second level is already set up for you, but they're giving up those 4 yards a pop. So if you get the volume, and especially they may want to protect Tua in this game, we've talked about Belichick against rookie quarterbacks. Anybody getting volume against the Patriots is going to get close to that 100-yard mark because that's what they give up. The bend don't break defense. And then if you do get down to the red zone, as Chase said, they struggle because they don't have that stout inside line. They never replaced the Shelton position. And when you look at who's playing, it's not going to be Winovich. It's not going to be Uche. Those aren't run stoppers. And you already lost Chung, who used to play up at the line as linebacker because he was an opt-out, and Donta Hightower, who was your best run-stopping linebacker. So when you lose your defensive tackle, you lose your strong safety, and you lose your inside linebacker, what are you going to do? You're going to be garbage against the run, and that's what New England is. They don't have the personnel for it. They don't have the scheme for it. So I love every running back against New England if they get volume to go for 100.
Now, we really dove into this, and New England is bottom 10 in yards per carry, but they're actually top 10 in explosive plays allowed to the running back position. So I'm sitting there, and I love the pick. Like, they just struggle in short yardage situations
So
because, like you said.
Can we say it's December 16th and you both gave me a pat on the back? Can we say
Yep.
that?
We give you pats.
There
Dude.
we go. There we go.
Scott, have you seen the video that got put out today of little Doodle over there?
I did not.
We're going to have to
I'll
send
send
that
it
over
to
to
you later.
you.
Oh, it's fire.
Yeah. By the way,
Anyways,
Chase, your process on Dobbins was right last week. I mean, he played 62% of the snaps, and Gus Edwards just managed to score on both
It's
of
like
his red
that
zone
all
touches.
the time with
He
Edwards.
had 2 red
All
zone
the
touches,
freaking
and he scored on
time.
both of them.
Edwards has
Like,
8 carries for 130 yards on like a regular basis. It's driving me insane.
Dobbins had 16 snaps in the entire game, and he scores twice and has a ton of yards.
You know what's impressed me with Dobbins was his ability to move the pile. Like on a regular basis, he was gaining like an extra 2 to 5 yards on almost every after he was touched. And after they had him locked up, he was still churning and able to gain. And that is when it comes to football.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that video is fire.
Amazing.
All right.
Check that out.
So let's go ahead, I guess, and do some more rapid fire.
Let's do it.
Oh, wait. Oh, Scott, who do you think? Who do you have for this?
I have Jeff Wilson slightly higher than J.K. Dobbins. I believe Wilson, Ahmed, Dobbins, and Edwards were all listed in that grouping. I can't remember which was, but I have Wilson above Dobbins, and then Ahmed, and then Edwards in that order, I would guess. So,
All right. Cam Akers, Jeff Wilson, Lynn Bowden, Chris Carson, PPR pick 2. I think Cam Akers is the lock for all of us, right?
Yes, not close. Akers, the obvious one.
All right, I'm guessing that either Chris Carson or Jeff Wilson would probably be up there, but I really do love Lynn Bowden this week. And we're about to talk about that. But I'm probably going to go Jeff Wilson slightly over Lynn. Man, that's tough.
Yeah, I can't go Carson against Washington. Washington's defense has been amazing.
I'm going to go Lynn Bowden. Screw it. I'm going to stand by my next round pick.
I'm going to go Wilson and Akers.
Washington's defense on the season has been good, but over the last 4 games, they're allowing 162 yards per game to running backs, 1.3 touchdowns per game to running backs. Carson has scored in every game since he came back from his injury. I think I'm leaning Carson over Wilson just barely, but I have them kind of close. And if Mostert plays, I don't think it's a question.
Wait.
Akers and Carson.
Yeah.
Wait, go back.
Yeah. You
said over the past few weeks, what's up with Washington?
Since the week 8 bye, the Giants, Lions, 49ers all averaged 160 plus yards. They're running backs. They're all their running backs against Washington.
Wait, what? No, because the Steelers only had 40 yards against them. Cowboys only had 60 yards.
40, 37, 21, 99.
Oh, maybe I wrote that down wrong.
Washington's been dominant as of late. They had a little bit of issues. Once they lost Matt Ioannidis, they had quite a few issues up against the running back because they were trying to figure out their balance because they were sending their edge rushers so often on passing blitz. But it's something as to where, Washington football teams have been really difficult to run against. Oh,
that was the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I was talking about right after their week 8 bye, week 9 and week 10 and week 11. Yeah, the last couple of weeks they've been a lot better, but that's true. But they've played Benny Snell and Jeff Wilson and
true.
Guys like that.
And Zeke Elliott, who apparently is in that trash can.
When they play guys right after their bye, it was a lot bigger. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, they've been a little more stout more recently. That's true.
Yeah, I just don't know if I can trust Chris Carson and the workload. Plus, they might have what's his name back? God, I'm having brain farts tonight. The first round pick, Rashad Penny. They might have Rashad Penny back this week, so we'll see what happens with that. Let's go Gronk.
On his way back for 3 years.
No, he's actually practicing now, supposedly. All right, Gronk or Andrews?
In standard, not PPR.
Andrews for me.
Yeah, Andrews.
Sure. I don't know either way. I mean, these are it's just one of those ones where I'm not excited about either one. So I'll agree. Let's go Andrews.
Yeah, man. In standard, you kind of want guys that are going to score more. Gronk's been scoring a lot lately.
Dude, he has, man.
Yeah, I was gonna check just how frequently Gronk has scored recently because it seems like it's just about every game.
Well, the thing is, go ahead.
5 out of the last 8 games he scored, I guess. But yeah, Gronk can disappear. He's got a couple games. He's got 3 games under 40 yards there too. So I guess Andrews.
Well, Andrews wasn't even involved until later on, so that's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's kind of
really it was the end of it was that end drive where he had 2 or 3 catches on the last. He had the 39-yarder at the end of the first half, and then at the end of the game he had a few catches. Yeah, he was for most of that game. He was a little bit out of it.
All right, Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson.
I need this guy's starters. I need your starters because it has to be wrong. Jonathan Taylor's a top
PPR.
Jonathan Taylor's a top 5 running back this week. Plain and simple. I don't know who you're starting, but unless it's the other 4.
Now look, somebody might have dropped him because they panicked whenever he was, under 48 yards.
God, I love that. I absolutely love that.
Okay, so let's just talk about this though when we talk about Taylor. Unless your 2 starters are named Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, or Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
That might be it. I mean, we could talk about Kamara, Jones, and Chubb maybe, but man, if you don't have 2 of those, Jonathan Taylor's your starting running back. That is your top 7 consensus across the board, and I would probably only start Henry, Cook, and Eckler over Taylor this week. I think I have Taylor slotted at running back 4. So if you have 2 of those, who cares who your flex is? You just won. Get ready for the championship because you can't be beat. But if you don't have two of those, I just want to know who the starters are because those
I'm going to
are
go on a limb and say that one of their starting positions is wrong.
It has to be. Unless it's one of those three guys, it's not right.
One of the guys they have in their starting slots is probably wrong.
Guys, it's a 4-man league. I'm in one of those where you have a 4-man league. It's best ball. That's what it is.
So let's think of some big names you might have in your starting spot. Jonathan Taylor is better than Cam Akers this week. He's better than Nick Chubb this week. He's better than Josh Jacobs. He's better than DeAndre Swift. He's better than David Montgomery. Like, if you're starting those guys, Jonathan Taylor is better than every single one of them this week.
All right, let's go ahead and hop into this next segment. Before we do, Bob over there. Bob does some excellent work. He is my favorite graphics person all across the board. Scott, are you allowed to actually comment on an SFBX question?
Sure. I don't see why not.
I'm just kidding.
It's a free league.
I'm just giving you a hard time. All right, so Cam Newton or Brandon Allen last week. Cam Newton, I think, got -5 points. Is that right? Bob still made it. How many teams are left in the SFBX?
150.
Okay, so Bob is actually one of those. He's part of Join Our Circle. I believe he has some other things that are coming out that are really big time, so I'm excited for Bob. But yeah, he's still in there. So he's in a really difficult position with Brandon Allen and Cam Newton. Oh, man.
My answer is no.
Just leave it blank.
Play it. Take the 0.
I mean, at that point, you just rather roll out a wide receiver who couldn't get you like negative points, right?
That's the point of the scoring, is that if a quarterback is that bad, flex someone who can actually score you points.
Man, I loved my draft, but I had 14 out of my 17 players miss 4 or more games.
Oh, God.
Oh, I posted my injury report. You saw it. I think it was 11 guys on it once. I never even got to cash in on my 17th round Ayuk pick. That had me so happy. And it never even cashed because I was out by the time he hit.
Yeah, I mean, everybody from Marlon Mack, onto, oh man, Galladay, it crushed my soul. I was really disappointed because it was my first year getting in. So, anyways,
Nice.
Let's
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Trust us, Bob. We're out. You're in. Play your gut. It's got you this far.
People watching, sign up. It's scottfishbowl.com. Sign up, because if you don't sign up, you can't get in. And then people complain that they're not in. They get upset that they missed out and they never signed up. I hate that. Oh, it sucks. Just sign up.
Burning
it's
a hole in his soul. I think you pick four I guess experts, quote unquote, to do one side, and then you get the 8 amateurs to fill out the other side.
It's flipped. It was originally meant to be an analyst league to try to network us all, get the community together. So it's 8 analysts per division and 4 fans. So
Okay,
there's lots of spots available though. So
I will say I think I entered every contest, and I was probably one of the last people that got in. I got in on Father's Day when I sent you a Father's Day card from my son, and that was my favorite. I got the email. My son's flipping out. We're sending videos of us celebrating getting in. And honestly, for a tournament I dreamed of getting into, and for the fact that I got decimated by injuries, it still far exceeded my expectations. I can't imagine having more fun in the league than I did in this league, making friends. Like I said, I mean, we talked about in the tweet, the 2 guys on this show are really the reason why I have a show to begin with. I mean, you 2 are the reason why I get to do this. I was 50 people, and I think the only person who paid me any mind scars when I was talking about your son doing the mock simulation of, I think it was the ghosts and the dragons and everybody else. I think we talked about that, but never once was I able to talk football really on Twitter, except dumping a few trade polls in there where I knew I just wanted my ego stroked to my 20 followers or whatever. But the Scott Fish Bowl and then meeting Chase because of the Scott Fish Bowl really is the only reason the show exists. So honestly, I guess this is where I want to take the time to say thank you to both of you for letting me do what I love on a weekly basis, because you gave me a voice that I didn't have beforehand. So absolutely sign up. It is the best thing I've ever been involved with fantasy-wise. You've made so many friends, made so many relationships, and honestly, now I get to do this because of it. So sign up. Without question, you will never regret joining that league.
Very awesome. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no, seriously, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and run through these last two so we get Scott out of here. And then if you guys want to stick around and answer some questions, I know we've been going for a while. If not, I'll hammer them out, no problem. All right.
Perfect.
Let's go ahead and head over to the wide receivers.
All right, so this one, Chase, I'm going to have you lead off because then me and Cooter are going heads up.
All right, Devontae Parker, right? If he's not playing, though, Lynn Bowden Jr. is an absolute smash play for me. Like Scott brought up, Devontae Parker really does not play well when he is banged up. And I understand that they have the Patriots, but this is something as to where they should have plenty of opportunities close to their goal line, and field position for me is everything here. I want to see those opportunities for Lynn Bowden being utilized. They have that rookie connection. Like Tua has this connection, and Lynn Bowden looks sick. Like, don't forget, guys, he was a wide receiver. Then he got converted to quarter. Then he got converted to running back. He plays everything. He knows the entire field like the back of his hand at that point. He knows what Tua is looking for. And for Tua to have this connection with him and not have any other pass catchers on the field, dude, Lynn Bowden is a smash play this week. He was my number one waiver wire pickup on the week. He is somebody that I'm plugging into my lineups, even in the semifinals. Lynn Bowden Jr. is a lock for a top 15 wide receiver, if not wide receiver 1 this week.
All right.
That's high. Wow.
That's big.
I like it. I like the call. I like the bold call.
Hey, Cooter, go ahead.
So you can finish with 2 touchdowns. That's all.
So I'm going to have to go with Juju Smith-Schuster this week. I know he's one of those guys that for whatever reason, just game after game, he kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Nobody's really hyping him up, but he's going against Cincinnati, which even Andy Dalton could get 2 passing touchdowns and almost 200 yards against them. So, and look, it's a him, Claypool, Deontay. I get it. You don't know where it's going to go week to week, but I think this is a Juju week just because I'm going to go team tough love. And they're going to be mad at Deontay. That's how I feel for all the drop balls. So, team tough love, go on Juju. Mike?
All right. Well, I guess we're both driving. We are now both driving down Narrative Street. Deontay Johnson is somebody that the Steelers need. I mean, he's now their game breaker. He's the guy that really, when he's right, that offense goes. Claypool's going to get, obviously, the red zone. He's going to get the high point touches. But I think there's no better way to get your weapons right than playing the Bengals, right? This is a get-right game. I think they're going to feed Deontay Johnson. This is a case of the yips. This isn't a guy who can't catch a football. This is a guy who is in his own head. I think they're getting him started early. They're getting him started often. I think the way you get a guy right in this situation is you start with bubble screens. You start getting him the ball in his hands in high efficient type plays and then let his talent do it. The Steelers are falling off a bit right now. This is their get right game. So could it be Juju? Could it be Claypool? Absolutely. But I'm going to put my money down on Deontay Johnson having his get right game and going back to the wide receiver 1 he was prior to the drops that started, 3 weeks back now.
And to quote you, Mike, why not both?
He's leading the league in drops. It didn't just start a couple weeks ago, man. He's leading the league in drops.
He picked up 6 of them in 2 weeks. No wonder he's leading the league in drops. And if Edelman was healthy, he'd be leading the league in drops. It's not fair. They took Edelman out, so someone had to take over.
Dude, he's the exact like Steve Sims clone. He's just in a better offense, and both those guys just not a wide receiver 1. But go ahead, Scott. Tell us what you're feeling.
Oh, man, I like the boldness of the Bowden call, but I think it's a little bit more risky than, say, Juju. So I'm going to lean Juju here. I think he's got a good matchup against Mackenzie Alexander in the slot. Yes. I actually like Chase Claypool's matchup on the outside there against LaShawn Sims more than I like the matchup against William Jackson on the other side for Deontay Johnson. And Deontay Johnson, they benched him. Like it scares the crap out of me that what if he drops a couple more balls and they bench him again? Like, so
I can't help dropping balls. He literally,
for me, it's just like this safety of Juju and knowing he did well against Cincinnati last time. He had like 70 some yards in a score. So I guess I'm going to lean Juju just because that 70 yards in the score is what I hope for from Bowden, but I feel like Juju's probably going to get it. So I'm going to lean with Juju there.
I honestly, I wouldn't without a shadow of a doubt, like think that Lynn Bowden could actually outproduce Juju, but I'm taking Lynn Bowden just because I love him and I got to stand by my guy. He's my guy this week.
I like it, man. I do like it.
All right, let's go ahead and hop into the tight ends, and yeah, we'll close it out with that, and then I'll go back and answer some of these questions.
All right, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna kick off tight end with a thing that makes me absolutely nauseous. Is that I didn't think that there was any chance that Chase's pick wasn't in the top 15, so I didn't look for him. I just noticed he's 25, and I have no idea how. So I don't mean to sway your pick, Scott, but I would pick heavily against me on this one.
He wasn't even listed when I did this. That's why I ran in here to type in my tight ends, because he was not on the list.
So I just checked now, and we have one analyst. Cockcraft has him at 14, and everyone else has him not ranked, which is insane. So yeah, your pick is mine. However, I do have to pick somebody, and I can't take your guy now. So I'm going to go Tyler Higbee. Darren Waller showed how the Jets are able to handle tight ends. There's a lot of volume there. And Higbee's like daylight savings time. He shows up like a couple times a year, but he's a pain in everybody's ass. Like we know he's the perfect daylight savings time guy. I think this is the time he shows up. We've talked about the Rams passing offense and want to get every piece of it. And we're talking about tight ends outside the top 15. This is the worst part of the show because there's never anybody good in there except if I found Chase's guys. So that is unfortunate. But I think Higbee, realistically, if you're looking for that home run throw, we've been talking ceiling floor all show. I've been talking it all year. Like I said, the article was about that. Tyler Higbee ceiling, when you get into the trash can that is the outside the top 15 plays at tight end, is really high this week. Could it be Everett? Could it be Woods? Could it be Cup? Of course. But as Cooter just talked about, it could be all of them. I mean, why not all of them in this matchup? Scott, I think you're, 323 yards a game? I mean,
325 and 3.33 touchdowns per game passing.
Perfect.
Against the Jets.
And
honestly, the Jets have allowed the most touchdowns to tight ends and the third most yards. Like, they barely cover the tight ends. So I get it.
Exactly. In top 12 this season is 3 catches for 18 yards and a touchdown. That's really all you need to do. The odds favor Higbee hitting that top 12 mark. The matchup favors it. I don't love it, but I like it this week.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you covered it. The guys outside of the top 15, it makes me uncomfortable. I think because I can't pick Irv Smith, because I can't pick Higbee, I'm just going to have to go with Jordan Reed for some of the reasons we talked about earlier. It's against Dallas. I mean, if you have to dig deep and go for some of these guys, that's all I can say. There's not many out there.
Yeah, I'm going Irv Smith Jr., guys. I don't know about you, but I'm going Irv Smith Jr. So we got the show sheet, right? Normally for the show sheet, I'm busy. I do about 10 shows a week. You know, the average show takes me about 6 to 8 hours to prep for. Then it takes me another few hours to promote for, get everything out. I am slam-packed the entire week, doing nonstop, just grinding out type work. Like, people are like, man, how do you do so many podcasts? Like, you spend a lot of time on the camera. I'm like, yeah, just because I spent this much time on the camera, it's like 10 times that what I spend off the camera. So when I saw this show sheet come out and then I'm going through my waiver wires, I'm like, I got to hop on and I got to grab my guy because I never get the opportunity to get my guy. I got to get Irv Smith Jr. This is the dude that's going to absolutely hammer home. Like we talked about, Kyle Rudolph still isn't even practicing. Even if he does, they're probably going to do a game script dependent on beating the Chicago Bears and their secondary when it comes to the tight end positions. Chicago Bears are terrible at defending the tight end. So I am 100% locking in Irv Smith Jr. as a tight end one this week and moving forward. I have him in almost every single dynasty league I can find him in.
Yeah, in dynasty, I love him. Yeah, no,
he's 22.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. I'm a Minnesota fan, but watching Irv Smith every week, he's just we need to get him more involved. And if Kyle Rudolph is out, he's a starting tight end. He should be starting leagues if he's out. I think the ranking this week must be based on they hope Kyle Rudolph would be back or something.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I can imagine he'd be, because in games he's played with Kyle Rudolph outside of like, I think like the Seattle game and the Atlanta game, and they're terrible against the pass in general. I think he's had pretty poor games when Kyle Rudolph is in, so that's hesitancy. But I'm assuming Rudolph will be out, so I love Irv Smith this week.
I had to watch a lot of game film on Gary Kubiak, and it really screwed me over because they sat there like Gary Kubiak ran one of the most, play action efficient offenses inside the red zone of any offense coordinator in NFL history overall. He is phenomenal calling play action fakes inside the red zone, and he has not been doing it this year, and it has been killing me. It's
annoying over the last couple of years.
He's so good at it.
I'm not the biggest Kirk Cousins fans, but he does what he does. I'm okay with him. I'm a Vikings fan, so we haven't had a quarterback play every game for 2 consecutive seasons since Fran Tarkenton. So like I'm used to not having stability there. But Kirk Cousins is actually pretty good at play action, and he's pretty good rolling out. So that's confusing why he doesn't use that more.
It's like it blows. Oh my God! Like I am. Especially with this play with Jordan Reed in his history and whatnot. It's just, oh man, it's going to drive me insane if I try and think about it because I spent so many hours doing that research on trying to figure out if Gary Kubiak was going to be more efficient in the red zone with passing opportunities than what Stefanski was, because Stefanski ran it so often in the red zone. Anyways, let's go ahead and get Scott out of here. I know that he's ready to roll. We've had him on for at least an hour now, probably an hour and a half. This reminds me of the Ray GQ podcast where we went for 3 hours.
Oh,
but
man,
yeah,
that was a long one.
Dude,
I think we threw out a lot of information, though. I think
we did. We solved a lot of problems. No, but Ray GQ was like, no, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Meanwhile, Mike is about dead in the background because he has to work at 4 a.m. or something. So.
Oh yeah, I think we got out of there at like midnight. I'm already amped from the podcast. I'm like, I got 2 hours left to be awake.
Anyways, Scott, what's going on, man, with your projects and whatnot? Where can we find you?
Yeah, Scottfish24 on Twitter is where you can find me for most of my stuff. Fantasy Cares has already done all of its shopping. We're done for the year. I'll post a bunch more pictures and stuff on that soon. SafeLeagues.com is what I run. I run a commissioner service that runs fantasy leagues. So if you're looking to take over a dynasty team, jump into a startup, jump into a new league next year, we do have available teams that people have decided, hey, I'm done with this team this year, that they're already dropping and letting us find new owners for. Go to SafeLeagues.com. But yeah, Scottfish24 on Twitter is where you can find anything I'm doing, really.
We use Safe Leagues for a lot of our leagues.
Very nice. Very nice. By the way, I just want to mention something that I've mentioned on just about every radio show or podcast or anything I've done for the last decade is if you're in a fantasy league, and you can even do this year, if you're in a fantasy league, take 1 entry fee, give it to charity. You won't miss it. Your league will rally behind it. If you don't want to do the entry fee side, you can have the winner say the winner gives the small amount to the charity of their choice. Just give a little bit somewhere. Everyone can rally behind that. If the 100,000 fantasy leagues out there that are operating, each one does a little part to different charities, we can do a ton of good out there. So just consider that. Bring that idea to your league, maybe for next year.
Yeah, and we actually have a charity that will be happening this weekend. I'll cover that in a second. But before I do, Cooterdoodle, where can we find you?
You can find me on Wednesdays with Chase and Mike, and just find me at Cooterdoodle with really just high quality, brilliant takes on Twitter. So,
Scott, did you see the one that got picked up by who was it? Was it Fantasy Pros or was it NFL Today?
I think it was Fantasy Pros.
She, when Jonathan Taylor was going through the
I did see that one. Yes. I did see that one. Yep.
The loss.
Yeah, that was nice. That was
oh good. God. And then of course, Mike, the light of my life, the joy to everything fantasy football, everybody's favorite big guy. What's up, Mike? What you got?
Oh man, so you can find me at Daddy's Home FF on Twitter. You can find me here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. You can find me yesterday on This Is the Podcast That I Do with Sal and Troy King. And if you want to ever hear the story that summarizes me and Chase's relationship, it is the conversation about Chase's Michael Gallup tweet versus my I love stickers tweet on Twitter. I told the story again last night.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. I told how hilarious it was. It was this beautiful 6-part take about Michael Gallup going against the defense that gives up explosive plays, gets 6 likes. I write in capital letters, I love stickers because Outhouse and Kane showed me where to buy stickers from podcasts. And I said, this summarizes us perfectly. My tweets provide you no actual usable information. It's just me smiling with sunshine, and Chase put together this beautiful tweet, and that is what makes us, to me, like the best odd couple we can find. We have added literally the smartest humor person in the business, and Cooterdoodle like keeps us laughing all the time. This team makes no sense, but it works, and I love you guys like family. So I am so stoked. Legitimately, like if you could put together like a team that I wanted to be involved with, this foursome right here couldn't make me happier. I'm so stoked, happy to be here. But yeah, Chase, you know which tweet I'm talking about. Gallup versus Stickers.
I know.
Is us to a T. I love you, brother. I love how different we are. And just like I said, so stoked that we got to do this tonight. I had an absolute blast.
And I'm way feisty too. I'm way feisty.
Oh yeah, you are. And I'm the hugger of the group. I'm like, come here. He didn't mean it.
Perfect. It's that ebb and flow that we give. And of course, Cooter, this is actually what, your 4th or 5th podcast ever?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think anybody ever will be able to say they did their 4th or 5th podcast with Scott. Fish.
I know. And it's nice to meet you. I've never met you before, Scott. It's nice. Thank you for letting me be
nice
here. I'm excited,
right.
man. This is fun.
Dude, I have a blast with it. And of course, you can find our excellent team over there at joinourcircle_, because the knitting company took the Join Our Circle, who has not been active since 2012. So join our circle_. I've tried to message everybody. I can't get a hold of it. Join our circle_. It's an excellent community that we have being put together over there with quick shots and everything. But also, you guys can find me getting my chest waxed this Sunday at 10 a.m. for charity. It is, yeah. I'm Harry. It's gonna be it's not gonna be fun. Meanwhile, my birthday's this weekend, so actually Shane over there from Fantasy Trades HQ is coming down, and he's going to help the professional wax me. Like, he's actually going to be pulling strips off of my chest.
Wow.
We're going to paint the town red. We're going to paint the town red.
Oh, you said
Friday.
That was before you.
Wait, I didn't even hear. I didn't even say it.
I thought you were just doing your chest, but according to your quote right there, you're
paint the taint red.
I am so nervous. My hands are shaking, like talking about it right now. Like, I am so nervous about this waxing. We're going to paint the town red. We're going to
just the town.
Oh God, just the town. On Friday and Saturday, then I'm gonna wake up at 10 a.m. and we're gonna wax my chest. Thanks, Dingus. Thank you. This is gold. All right, so we have 2 clips we have to make sure we highlight. 146.13. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna paint the town red, and I'm gonna really be hurt. But we're doing this for No Kid Hungry over there. It's a charity. We're donating a ton of the proceeds towards that. And yeah, make sure you guys go check out at Some Yards. Yeah, doing that for charity as well. And then we have Scott Fit. We have a ton of charity going on here. Plus, you know, Shane's a charity whore, so that makes it even better that we brought him up. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Scott, for joining us. Make sure y'all go check us out next Wednesday, where we have Chris Allen in the house. Then the week after that, we will actually have, let's see, Ray GQ again. We will have Nate over there. And, of course, Sal from your favorite thing, your favorite yearly podcast, the Podathon.
Very nice.
Oh man, we got a full house where Mike will most likely have to chug
I am no
a Big Mac smoothie.
Whoever hit Joe Burrow, I am so furious. So
it was, oh man,
it was a guarantee. T. Higgins was going to be the top scoring rookie wide receiver from week 6 on. It was happening. Everything was coming true. My silly, glorious, boisterous bet that I gave you the field that I took T. Higgins was actually going to pay off before Burrow got hurt. And now I'm just sad.
Oh man, this is going to be gorgeous. I cannot wait. Yeah, we got some big time, people lined up. So I'm very excited for that. Yes. Scott, get out of here, man. I know you got things to do.
Yep. It's really just go to bed. I'm old now. I'm 41 now, so it's just go to bed at this point. By the way, I was going to say, with Rojo on COVID, there's a chance I shouldn't have laughed at that forehead question as I think about it.
Oh, I didn't even realize that Rojo was on.
I didn't know he was either. And I feel
It
bad.
was still beautiful to see.
I'm guessing it's still the wrong call, but yeah.
Oh man, we're gonna have to have a vote. We're gonna have to put up a poll. Which one was worse, paint the taint red or? I didn't even realize I said it until you guys brought it up.
It is what it sounded like.
Oh man, or
Oh,
oh god,
Yeah.
or the spit take. All right,
nice. Very nice.
Scott, we appreciate
Alright.
you coming in, man.
Yep.
Bye,
You guys have a
Scott.
great night. Thanks
Nice,
for
man.
having me.
Wow, appreciate it.
All right, do you guys want to stay in for the questions real quick, or are
Yeah,
you guys?
let's
Yeah, I can
rapid
stay
fire.
for probably 10 more minutes.
All right, sounds good. Let me find out where we were because that was a while ago.
And a couple are going to be fast because I saw some that were repeats of what we said.
Oh man, I missed Faith. Hello, sorry, Faith.
Hopefully
I
she's
didn't
still
see.
here. Oh, she's
wait.
just talking to Scott anyway, not us.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Oh.
Dude, so many questions. Did we do this one yet?
Ayuk.
Yeah, some of these we can just roll off because we kind of got deep into it. But
Oh, I found where we're at because we ended with Bob's question, I think.
Yep.
All right, so let's go with Cam Akers and Mike Davis. This is actually a good one.
Mike Davis.
yeah, I'll go Davis. But either way, I'm happy with it. But like Mike was saying, Akers may not have as big of a boom game.
I kind of like Akers in this one, but it's very close for me. I don't think you can lose with either one. Josh Jacobs, start him or sit him. He's dealing with some injuries this week. He is supposed to play tomorrow, but he's going to be on limited snap count. I'm playing him in most lineups. The Chargers are terrible about stopping the running back.
Yeah. I mean, the Chargers are absolutely like giving up so much yardage. I'm playing Josh Jacobs. Let me give you some names. Miles Sanders, David Montgomery, Chris Carson, either of the 49ers guys, either of the Arizona guys, whoever's playing in Tampa. These are all guys you're playing Jacobs against. If you have better options than that, just sit them. Otherwise, I don't see how you could have a team stacked enough to get away from them.
All right. What about Akers over Jacobs?
Akers, just the uncertainty of the injury, just the uncertainty of everything. I mean, Jacobs has a much better matchup, but I'm gonna go with the talent on Akers.
Rivers, Carr, or Trubisky? You guys know where I stand on this. Trubisky for me.
Yeah, man, Rivers, Carr, and Trubisky. It's close for me because you know how much I love Carr. You know how big of a fan of Carr I am. He's been doing it day in and day out, week in and week out. The Chargers isn't exactly a difficult matchup. They're close. I'm going to go Carr.
I don't know
Thielen?
enough. Yeah. Oh, we did this one. Yeah, Ayuk.
Ayuk.
All right. Made it to semifinals first year.
Hurts.
Congratulations.
100%.
Congrats, my dude. And Hurts.
Herbert or Lamar?
Herbert.
Lamar. I
Herbert.
dropped Russell Wilson and Jonathan Allen in a guillotine league to pick up Lamar. I think Lamar's going to smash this week.
No, I'm going to go Herbert. I think the running backs are going to get theirs. I think that this might be a game that gets away from the Chargers. That's my fear, is it gets away from the Chargers. Jackson has been the picture of health, more of the volume play than anything else. I think that Jackson may not see the fourth quarter.
Keep in mind with this secondary as
We
well.
almost didn't see the fourth quarter, but yes.
Yeah, he might have cramps again.
Oh God. Keep in mind as well that the secondary for the Raiders, 2 out of their 4 starters are out this week. So that's a big play for Herbert as well.
Yeah, I think it's a smash play for him. Like you said, I mean, it's the matchup is good, the injuries are good, and I mean with Jacksonville, it's just going to be an absolute blowout. And I think the Chargers I think the Chargers are going to get the jump. The Raiders are going to get the jump on the Chargers, and you're going to see them play it out. And I think that if you have Austin Eckler, he is the only person that I think has a chance to outscore Derrick Henry this week.
By the way, Munder, Difflin, I voted for you. But yeah, got to pick one: Juju, Claypool, or Chark. I'm going
Claypool.
Juju
Same.
and
Claypool.
Chark. But Juju's my pick.
You can only pick one.
I know. I realized that as I was saying it.
So we have 2 Jujus and a Claypool. Like we talk about with Pittsburgh, it's a tough one.
Oh, look. Hey. Yeah, dude, we talked about Irv Smith a lot.
Oh, man, all I keep hearing in my head when you
That's
guys talk
messed
Irv
up,
Smith,
John Luke. That's messed
man.
up.
all I hear is the league. I have Kelsey and Irv Smith as my tight ends, and I'm like, man, I'm set for like 15 years. This is the best.
Had the flex question earlier. Oh
No.
God.
No, Drake and Akers. I'd stick with those guys.
Okay. Cooter.
Let's see.
PPR. Hopkins, Ridley, Parker, Gallup, Judy. So which ones would you play? Or I guess for the wide receiver threes, which one would you play?
Yeah, one out of those three.
I don't know. What did we say about Parker earlier?
He does not perform when he plays injured, but it's, good field position is what we're looking at essentially. If he
that's my
plays.
gut, so I don't know. I'll just say Parker.
Parker by a considerable amount on this one.
Yeah, same deal. Sorry, but Mitch Trubisky is better than Tom Brady.
Ouch.
All right, Big Ben or Hurts?
Big
Man.
Ben this week for me.
Ben this week, yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. I think this is starting Fournette.
Shouldn't.
I'm trying to find the questions. I'm scrolling down. Let me just go ahead and click on these as I go down.
Everyone wants to see the breakup game.
Dude, I predicted it now 2 weeks in a row, I think. It's terrible. All right, Josh Jacobs or Cam Akers? We already answered this, right?
Yeah, it's a close one, though. So tight end heavy, though.
Wait,
yeah.
What?
Touchdown.
Touchdown heavy. Jeez, I'm tired. Touchdown heavy, Jacobs.
All right. Yeah, Jeff Wilson or McKissick, full PPR, I'm guessing.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Yep,
We
Wilson's a
talked about him
smash
too.
play. Did we already cover this one? Was that the actual question that we
Yep,
answered
you
earlier?
guys both went Trubisky. I went Carr.
Yeah.
All right. Cousins or Carr?
Cousins
Carr.
for me.
Cousins.
All right. Deontay Johnson or LaVisca Chenault? I'm going LaVisca. He's seen the volume again.
Deontay.
I am going to go Deontay.
I hate Demonte.
I know you do.
I mean Deontay. Let's see. This is great radio. Sorry, guys. I definitely have a lot of editing to do. All right, start two. Eckler versus Raiders. Jacobs. Wait. Eckler versus Raiders. Jacobs versus Chargers. Carson versus football team.
Eckler is miles ahead of both of them. Please,
Yeah.
this shouldn't be in the question.
Start
and then
two.
Jacobs.
Man, I like Eckler and
Well,
Carson.
Eckler's dealing with an injury, by the way.
He is, but if you're asking the question, it means you expect him to be active. If he doesn't play, yes, don't play him. But if Eckler plays, he's, like I said, possibly number one. And he's dealing with a quote-unquote injury. It was the would be a participant if we practiced injury report that he was out on, not the full injury report. I didn't check today, but if he's listed as participating, smash.
That's actually a good call. That's a very good call.
All right, before y'all move on, is it okay if I hop on out?
Nope.
Yeah.
I
Later,
had a
Cooter.
great time, though. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, we're almost done.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, what do we got?
Oh, God.
I see one at the bottom that makes me want to kind of vomit a little bit. Higbee.
Johnny Smith for me.
Later,
Wait,
Taylor.
you have Higbee.
Higbee, yeah. Cole Kmet is a Greek god. No question.
All right, Smith Jr., Johnny Smith.
Smith and Smith.
Smith and Smith, yeah, 100%. She was commenting on the fact that that's funny. Oh man, I'm cutting all this out. All right. Yeah, go vote.
Yep. Already we posted that while Scott was here too. Are we down?
I'm trying to find the questions.
I think we're down to the Allen Brady one.
Yeah, I think we are. Josh Allen or Brady this week? I think we already answered this. We're going Josh Allen.
Josh Allen by a mile, yep. And then last one, I'm going Beasley. You're going to stick to your guns here?
Yeah, I'm sticking to it, Bowden.
All right, you're going to lose that one. Cool, that should do it.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you all for letting us intervene with your fantasy football life. We're out.
Later, guys.